This is Mike Steck here today with Clarior Law to share a few thoughts with you on some successful startup business tips. First of all, Clarior Law, I represent a lot of small businesses and also startup businesses, and a lot of the things that I have to share with you here today just come from some of my observation of these successful businesses and some of the things that they're doing to help them grow their business. So also recognize that what we're sharing here today is not legal advice, but it's just some observations that I've had in terms of successful businesses. First of all, one of the keys to success here, and this has been something that a good mentor in my life shared with me a long time ago, said that organization is the key to success. And I've thought a lot about that over the years. And I try very hard to be organized both in my own personal practices and also in helping other people with their business. And so in talking about organization, in thinking of your business planning, what you're coming up with, organization is going to be very helpful down the road. Laying that solid foundation in your company structuring, both legally, tax-wise, and otherwise. And surrounding yourself with good advisors. I think that's one of the best things that you can do in setting up a business and also running your business is having good advisors around you to help you with those areas that you don't know everything about. Because one of the things about being in small business is that you end up being a jack of all trades and you need to do everything else. Generally speaking, as I've talked with a lot of people about their business idea, it seems that there's two things that people are generally after. They're either coming up with something that's brand new that nobody else is doing, and they've uncovered some new idea, new way of doing something, or a new product that they feel that they can sell that nobody else out there is doing. Now, since we don't always have that stroke of genius of coming up with something new, new invention, one of the things that's been very helpful for other companies is to take a look at what somebody else does and do it either faster, do it better, more conveniently, or at a cheaper price. And I've seen that those who are successful generally do one of these things. They do more than one of these things. For example, there's plenty of places to buy a hamburger for lunch, but somebody who's doing it successfully, they're doing it with greater convenience. They're in a better location. They have a better price, or the food is just better, whatever it may be, or their service is faster. And so you can many times take a look at what other people are doing and do it faster, better, more convenient, or at a cheaper price. And key here too is know your business. Know your customer. Who is your customer? And this will help you with your business planning. Is first of all thinking about who your customer is and who you're going to serve and how you're going to generate revenue. Know your margins. Know how much every little product that you sell. If you're in a product-based business, or if you're in a service-based, know your margins. Also, your industry. What is it that your industry expects, and who's being successful? And also your competition. Is there somebody in the area that competes with you directly, or is there an area where others are doing it more successfully? And being very aware of these things and knowing your business, knowing inside and out, that if I were to come to you and you were interested in starting a business and say, who is it that your customer is and who's going to bring you in money, you need to be able to very clearly articulate, this is how I get my customer, and this is who they are, and this is what they're interested in. Back to the sandwich shop. Somebody who knows their customer, they're probably looking at a location-based thing or really good food. And so they've got to know their customer. This is somebody who is an office worker, who is near the office when my location is in there. And so knowing your customer is very critical there. In looking at your business model, one of the things that I've talked about with a lot of companies is, they recognize the big box store. And if you've ever been around in any one of the national chains, the thing that you'll find is that in the big box store, you generally find very little hands-on customer service. It's pretty much just, here's our store, and here are all of the things that you can buy. We've got things listed well, there's inventory, but there's really not anybody that's there. And that's how they're able to drive their prices down, is that they don't have the overhead of knowledgeable customer service people to walk you through and tell you all about the differences in the things there. They let the product do the talking for you, and that's why their prices are so low. Also, they have national purchasing power. And similarly, you'll find that many online retailers are the same way. They'll have a well-drafted description, nice pictures, and they spend their time in the display of the product rather than in the actual interaction, because that's time, and time costs money. And so that's where you're looking at this business model, recognizing that there is this successful business model that is out there. Well, and in a startup business, unless you have somebody bringing a lot of money to the table, you're going to struggle with having enough inventory and having the retail space or the online presence to have this. And so that's where many times the small business will look at a custom shop or a boutique or a specialty shop, just depending upon what your industry is and how you're servicing there. And the companies that try to compete with the big box but also have that custom shop feel and the same pricing, many times are going to struggle because they don't have the margin in the wholesale price to be able to compete with the big box store. And so there has to be something else. And so identifying what your model is, understanding who your customer is and your location, and how you differentiate from your competition is going to be very helpful. And in watching some companies that have done well and also some who have struggled, one of the things, I just have a few warnings and some things to look out for. Be very careful about your cash flow. One of the things that happens is people will get overextended. They'll commit themselves to doing a larger job than they're able to perform on. And so we have this saying of rob Peter to pay Paul, that their money that's coming in now is to take care of a job that they've already taken money in on and realize that money with. And so when you get into that position of robbing Peter to pay Paul, it can be a very dangerous situation, letting you know that your company is struggling. Also, be aware of your overhead. And for a small business, one of the biggest, there's two big things that are three actually. So we've got your inventory if you're trying to build up an inventory of stuff. Also employees can be a very high expense item, and then also your space, where you're located. And so being aware of those things and trying to keep that overhead down. Some of the most successful startup businesses where they don't have a lot of cash that's come into the company, they have what we call sweat equity rather than cash equity. These companies tend to be more successful simply by keeping their overhead very low, and the owners actually do a lot of the work, and they become this jack of all trades. And so they have space that may not be the most desirable, or the owners do the most work with the company, and they handle a lot of the day-to-day stuff. And so whether you have cash equity or sweat equity kind of helps you to know how much you need to be involved with the business. Be careful of the hobby business. The hobby business, and this could be everything from starting a gym. This could be being in the firearm business, trying to sell something that you have as a hobby. Many times people will look at a product or an item that they know a lot about, and it can be beneficial because they know a great deal about this item. But the problem is that they can many times treat it as a hobby rather than as a business. And they sometimes can lack the professionalism that a business requires, or they're not focused on the bottom line and knowing their margins and their customer, that they think about what that person, if I know a lot about a certain, sport or something, and I focus on what I like versus what my customer likes. And so being aware of what your customer and focusing on their needs as opposed to your needs. Know your limitations. And easing into small business can be very helpful, and not overextending yourself. Setting parameters and hours, you'll many times find that there are no set hours to your work, and that you can work all day long. And so having hours and also setting some goals. I have found both personally and for other companies that set daily goals and focus on what they need to accomplish for the day to be successful, and focusing on that revenue stream of this is how much money we need to make for today becomes very helpful and also very valuable to the small business. Also recognizing that many small businesses do fail, and that it takes a long time. It can be years before a business has the regular recurring revenue. So taking a look at, do I have the cash equity to support this over the time while I develop a customer base and as things get up and rolling. And it can take a long time for the business to normalize. So those are just a few warnings there. Today I just kind of wanted to go through and share some ideas and some things that I've learned both personally and looking at other businesses, as I've helped businesses try to be successful, starting with a solid foundation, legal structure. That's where I come in. Knowing your idea, what it is that you're going to do better than other people, your business, your customer, and being very aware of how you're going to be successful, and understanding your business model, and recognizing some of those warning signs as a business can start to fail. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you found something that can be helpful to you as you grow a business, as you're considering to grow a business, and as you're ready to start talking about that solid legal foundation. Please feel free to shoot me an email off of my website, clariorlaw.com. Thank you for watching.